Hej och välkomna tillbaka. Idag är det vecka 12 i den här Torah portion, Torah-läsningen. Och vi ska fortsätta med Genesis. Det är det sista i första Mosebok. Genesis 47, 28 till 50, 26. Den här delen heter Vayeshi och betyder and he lived, och han levde. Så det kommer handla om Jakobs välsignelse då på Josefs barn, Efraim och Manasse. Och lite Josefs sista tid också, och brödernas sista tid där i Egypten. Och som vanligt så tänker jag att vi skummar igenom lite i Jasher, Book of Jasher, den redliges bok. Som sagt, vi skummar igenom lite, för det är en del krig och så som utspelar sig, så att vi behöver inte läsa allt där. Men vi hoppar väl in. Genesis 47. 47-28. Vi kan börja från 27 här. So Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt. Israel är ju Jakob, ett annat namn för Jakob. Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen. And they had possessions there, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the length of Jacob's life was 147 years. When the time drew near that Israel must die, he called his son Joseph and said to him, Now if I have found favor in your sight, please put your hand under my thigh and deal kindly and truly with me. Please do not bury me in Egypt, but let me lie with my fathers. You shall carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their burial place. And he said, I will do as you have said. Then he said, Swear to me, and he swore to him. So Israel bowed himself on the head of the bed. Om vi hoppar in i Jasher, kapitel 56. Vi kan läsa från vers 10. Jag tycker det är intressant. And Jacob again commanded his sons on that day, saying, Behold, I shall be this day gathered unto my people. Carry me up from Egypt, and bury me in the cave of Machpelah, as I have commanded you. Howbeit, take heed, I pray you, that none of your sons carry me, only yourselves. And this is the manner you shall do unto me, when you carry my body, to go with it to the land of Canaan to bury me. Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun shall carry my bier at the eastern side, Reuben, Simeon, and Gad at the south, Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin at the west, Dan, Asher, and Naphtali at the north. Let not Levi carry with you, for he and his sons will carry the ark of the covenant, of which Yahuwah with the Israelites in the camp. Neither let Joseph my son carry, for as a king, so let his glory be. Howbeit Ephraim and Manasseh shall be in their stead. Jag tycker det är intressant att man nämner förbundsarken redan här. Ska se, var det någonting mer här? Jag tror vi kan hoppa vidare. Genesis 48. Now it came to pass, after these things, that Joseph was told, Indeed your father is sick. And he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And Jacob was told, Look, your son Joseph is coming to you. And Israel strengthened himself and sat up on the bed. Then Jacob said to Joseph, Elohim Almighty appeared to me in Luz, in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said to me, Behold, I will make you fruitful and multiply you, and I will make you a multitude of people, and give this land to your descendants after you as an everlasting possession. Jag ska förstora texten lite. And now your 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, who were born to you in the land of Egypt, before I came to you in Egypt, are mine, as Reuben and Simeon. They shall be mine. Your offspring, whom you beget after them, shall be yours. Then they will be called by the name of their brothers in their inheritance. But as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died beside me in the land of Canaan on the way, and there was but a little distance to go to Ephrat, but I buried her there on the way to Ephrat. That is Bethlehem. Then Israel said to Joseph's sons saw Joseph's sons and said, Who are these? Joseph said to his father, They are my sons, whom Elohim has given me in this place. And he said, Please bring them to me, and I will bless them. Now the eyes of Israel were dim with age, so that he could not see, but Joseph brought them near him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said to Joseph, I had not thought to see your face, but in fact Elohim has also shown me your offspring. So Joseph brought them from beside his knees, and he bowed down with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim with his right hand towards Israel's left hand, and Manasseh with his left hand towards Israel's right hand, and brought them near him. Then Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand on Manasseh's head, guiding his hands knowingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. And he blessed Joseph and said, Elohim, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the Elohim who has fed me all my life long to this day, the angel who has redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads. Let my name be named upon them, and the name of my father Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into multitude in the midst of the earth. Now when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand on the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. So he took hold of his father's hand and removed it from Ephraim's head to Manasseh's head. And Joseph said to his father, Not so, my father, for this one is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his. Så Jakob, Israel här, han korsar händerna kan man säga då, och välsignar den yngre då, Efraim. But his father refused and said, I know, my son, I know. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great, but truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his descendants shall become a multitude of nations. So he blessed them that day, saying, By you Israel will bless, saying, May Elohim make you as Ephraim and Manasseh. And thus he set Ephraim before Manasseh. Then Israel said to Joseph, Behold, I am dying, but Elohim will be with you and bring you back to the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to you one portion above your brothers, which I took from the hand of the Amorite, with my sword and my bow. Jag nämnde lite något tidigare tillfälle om just det här Efraim får titeln att han ska bli en multitude of nations. Och det finns lite olika teorier om vad innebar det där. Är det någonting som står sig idag? Om ni är intresserade så kan ni ju söka på det. En del menar att det här är USA som har en Manasse skulle då vara Englands rike, om man säger, och Efraim USA, och att de är en multitude of nations. Det finns lite olika teorier om vad betyder det här egentligen. En liten anekdot. Vi ska se, hade jag inte någonting i Jasher? Sen, snart. Kapitel 49. And Jacob called his sons and said, Gather together, that I may tell you what shall befall you in the last days. Gather together and hear, you sons of Jacob, and listen to Israel your father. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, you shall not excel, because you went up to your father's bed, then you defiled it. He went up to my couch. Och Ruben här läste vi om att han gick ju till Bila, tror jag har för mig det var. Jakobs fru var det väl inte, slavinnan, vad ska man säga, till en av fruarna där. Och vi läste ju också att han vart av med sin förstfödslorätt på grund av det. Vilket jag tror att Levi och Juda fick. Simeon and Levi are brothers. Instrument of cruelty are in their dwelling place. Let not my soul enter their council. Let not my honor be united to their assembly. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they hamstrung an ox. Cursed be their anger, for it is fierce, and their wrath, for it is cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. Ja, Simeon och Levi var ju de som dräpte alla män i Shekem, staden. Judah, you are he whom your brother shall praise. Your hand shall be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's children shall bow down before you. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, you have gone up. He bows down, he lies down as a lion, and as a lion, who shall rouse him? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes. And to him shall be the obedience of the people, binding his donkey to the vine, and his donkey's colt to the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes are darker than wine, and his teeth whiter than milk. Intressant bildspråk. Juda, ur Judas stam så kom ju Messias. Och när jag ser det här, han tvättar sina kläder i vin. Hans kläder är han är klädd i blodet av grapes, vindruvor. Så det står om Jerusalem och Uppenbarelseboken nämner om skökan. Skökan har element. Och du har vredets vin och blod och så vidare. Och alla de här attributen har Jerusalem och det liknas med Juda hus. Mycket att ta in kanske, men Israel, landet Israel sen blir ju uppdelat i 2 riken, norra riket och södra riket. Och i söder så är det Juda, Benjamin och om det är Simeon också. Som är i söder. Och i norra delen så är det resten av stammarna då. Och det här står i Hesekiel 36. Har för mig det. Så talas det om två kvinnor som gör fel. Och det är då norra riket och södra riket. Men ja, det får vi göra en egen video om. Jag stannar där. Zebulun shall dwell in the haven of the sea. He shall become a haven for ships, and his border shall adjoin Sidon. Issachar is a strong donkey, lying down between 2 burdens. He saw that rest was good, and that the land was pleasant. He bowed his shoulder to bear a burden, and became a band of slaves. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, a viper by the path, that bites the horse's heels, so that its rider shall fall backwards. I have waited for your salvation, O Yahweh. Mycket bildspråk. Gad, a troop shall tramp upon him, but he shall triumph at last. Bread from Asher shall be rich, and he shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a deer let loose, he uses beautiful words. Naphtali kommer vi också läsa om i Jasher is a deer let loose. Han var lättfotad, eller han sprang snabbt. Där kommer vi läsa. Joseph is a fruitful bow by a well. His branches run over the wall. The archer have bitterly grieved him, shot at him and hated him, but his bow remained in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty Elohim of Jacob. From there is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, by the Elohim of your father, who will help you, and by the Almighty, who will bless you, with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lies beneath, blessing of the breast and of the womb. The blessings of your father have excelled the blessings of my ancestors, up to the uttermost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him who was separate from his brothers. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at the night he shall divide the spoil. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is what their father spoke to them, and he blessed them. He blessed each one according to his own blessing. Vi kan kika lite på hur uppdelningen av landet blev bland stammarna. Jag hittar någon bild här från According to the book of Joshua, eller Yahusha, som jag tror Jesus hette. Det kommer vi också gå in på. Det är mycket separata videos vi ska göra. Här har vi Juda, södra delen, Simeon, Benjamin här också. Ja, Ruben, Gad, Manasse får en stor del. Efraim, Dan. Jag har sett några bilder på att Dan också eventuellt var uppe i norr. Att de hade 2 platser. Edom har vi här. Och det är väl Esaus söner som höll till här. Jätteintressant. Jag läste lite om Edom. Och man tror att det var det folket som har byggt... jag är så dålig på den här... Det finns en grotta, kan man säga, uthuggen i ett berg med pelare liksom. Ni vet kanske vad jag menar. Man tror att det är de som har byggt den i alla fall. Ni får kika. Ni får söka. Men som jag nämnde, Judahus. Och det är ju efter Babylon-tiden. Eller före och efter Babylon-tiden. Så har du då Judahus. Judastam, Benjamins stam, söder. Resten av stammarna har assyrierna då tagit över. För att de inte ville följa Herrens bud. Så fick assyrierna tillgång och ta över landet. Och splittra stammarna, splittra folket ut över hela världen. Och Jesus säger, det här är norra riket kallat för Israel. Eller Jakobs hus, har för mig. Och södra då judahus. Jesus, Jehusha, säger ju att jag har kommit för de förlorade fåren i Israels hus. Säger han faktiskt. Vad menar han med det? Har han inte kommit för att frälsa alla? Alla har ju möjlighet. Jag tänker att vilka är Israels hus? Om man blir frälst, om man kommer in, så blir man inympad, så blir man en del av Israel. Ja. Vi kommer säkert komma in på det också. Vi fortsätter. Then he charged them and said to them, I am to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite as a possession for a burial place. They are buried there. They buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife, and there I buried Leah. The field and the cave that is there were purchased from the sons of Heth. And when Jacob had finished commanding his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed and breathed his last, and was gathered to his people. Kapitel 50. Then Joseph fell on his father's face and wept over him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. So the physicians embalmed Israel. 40 days were required for him, for such are the days required for those who are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. Now when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spoke to the household of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found favor in your eyes, please speak in the hearing of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Behold, I am dying. In my grave, which I dug for myself in the land of Canaan, there you shall bury me. Now therefore please let me go up and bury my father, and I will come back. And Pharaoh said, Go up and bury your father, as he made you swear. So Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and the elders of the land of Egypt, as well as the house of Joseph, his brothers, and his father's house. Only their little ones, their flocks and their herds, they left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great gathering. Then they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond the Jordan, and they mourned there with a great and very solemn lamentation. He observed 7 days of mourning for his father, and when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning at the threshing floor of Atad, they said, This is a deep mourning of the Egyptians. Therefore its name was called Abel Mitzraim. Här ser vi Mitzraim, som är ett annat ord för Egypten. Which is beyond the Jordan. Och vi kan läsa i Jasher att det är flera från Kanaan som också kommer och sörjer för Jakobs skull här. So his sons did for him just as he had commanded them. For his sons carried him to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre, which Abraham bought with the field from Ephron the Hittite as property for a burial place. And after he had buried his father, Joseph returned to Egypt, he and his brothers, and all who went up with him to bury his father. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, "Perhaps Joseph will hate us, and may actually repay us for all the evil which we did to him." So they sent messengers to Joseph, saying, "Before your father died, he commanded, saying, Thus you shall say to Joseph, I beg you, please forgive the trespass of your brothers and their sin, for they did evil to you. Now please forgive the trespass of the servants of the Elohim of your father." And Joseph wept when they spoke to him. Then his brothers also went and fell down before his face, and they said, "Behold, we are your servants." Joseph said to them, "Do not be afraid, for am I in the place of Elohim? But as for you, you meant evil against me, but Elohim meant it for good, in order to bring it about as it is this day, to save many people alive. Now therefore do not be afraid, I will provide for you and your little ones." And he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. Josefs historia är ju, det är lik Jehoshas, Jesus, att han räddar människor. De hatade Josef och gjorde ont mot honom, men det var för någonting bra. So Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's household, and Joseph lived 110 years. Joseph saw Ephraim's children to the third generation. The children of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were also brought up to Joseph's knees. And Joseph said to his brethren, "I am dying, but Elohim will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land to the land of which he swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob." Then Joseph took an oath from the children of Israel, saying, "Elohim will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from here." So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. Jag tänker vi kan läsa lite i Jasher om hela det här stycket vi har läst då. Jasher 56. Vi kan ta lite brottstycken. Vi kan ta från 43. Och det här är ju när de går upp med Jakob då för att begrava honom. "And all the kings of Canaan heard of the things that they all went forth, each man from his house, 31 kings of Canaan, and they all came with their men to mourn and weep over Jacob. And all these kings beheld Jacob's bear, jag vet inte hur man säger det här ordet. And behold, Joseph's crown was upon it, and they also put their crowns upon their bear, and encircled it with crowns. And all the kings made in the place a great and heavy mourning with the sons of Jacob and Egypt over Jacob, for all the kings of Canaan knew the valor of Jacob and his sons. And the report reached Esau, saying, Jacob died in Egypt, and his sons and all Egypt are conveying him to the land of Canaan to bury him. And Esau heard this thing, and he was dwelling in the Mount Seir, and he rose up with his sons and all his people and all his household, a people exceedingly great, and they came to mourn and weep over Jacob. And it came to pass, when Esau came, he mourned for his brother Jacob, and all Egypt and all Canaan again rose up and mourned a great mourning with Esau over Jacob in the place. And Joseph and his brethren brought their father Jacob from the place that they went to Hebron to bury Jacob in the cave by his fathers. And they came to Kirat Arba, to the cave, and as they came, Esau stood with his sons against Joseph and his brethren, as an hindrance in the cave, saying, Jacob shall not be buried therein, for it belongs to us and our father. And Joseph and his brethren heard the words of Esau's sons, and they were exceedingly wroth. And Joseph approached unto Esau, saying, What is this thing which they have spoken? Surely my father Jacob bought it from thee with the great riches after the death of Isaac. Now 25 years ago, and also the land of Canaan he bought from you, and from your sons and your seed after you. And Jacob bought it for his sons and his seed after him for an inheritance forever. And why speak you these things this day? And Esau answered, saying, You speak falsely, and others lie. For I sold not anything belonging to me in all the land, as you say, neither did my brother Jacob buy aught belonging to me in this land. And Esau spoke those things in order to deceive Joseph with his words, for Esau knew that Joseph was not present in those days when Esau sold all belongings to him in the land of Canaan to Jacob. And Joseph said to Esau, Surely my father inserted these things with you in the record of purchase, and testified the record with witnesses. And behold, it is with us in Egypt. Jakob skrev ner det här i en bok. And Esau answered, saying to him, Bring the record, all that you will find in the record, so we will do. And Joseph called unto Naphtali, his brother, and he said, Hasten quickly, stay not, and run, I pray you, to Egypt, and bring all the records, the record of the purchase, the sealed record, and the open record, and also the first record, in which all the transactions of the birthright are written. Fetch you. And you shall bring them unto us hither, that we may know from them all the words of Esau and his sons which they spoke this day. And Naphtali hearkened to the voice of Joseph, and he hastened and ran to go down to Egypt. And Naphtali was lighter on foot than any of the stags that were upon the wilderness, for he would go upon ears of corn without crushing them. Så Naphtali, han var en löpare. Han var lätt och sprang snabbt. And when Esau saw that Naphtali had gone to fetch the record, he and his sons increased their resistance against the cave. And Esau and all his people rose up against Joseph and his brethren to battle. And all the sons of Jacob and the people of Egypt fought with Esau and his men. And the sons of Esau and his people were smitten before the sons of Jacob. And the sons of Jacob slew Esau's people 40 men. And Shim, the son of Dan, the son of Jacob, was at that time with Jacob's sons, but he was about 100 cubit distance from the place of battle, for he remained with the children of Jacob's sons by Jacob's bear to guard it. And Shushim was dumb and deaf. Still he understood the voice of consternation amongst men. And he asked, saying, Why do you not bury the dead? And what is the great consternation? And they answered him, the word of Esau and his sons. And he ran to Esau in the midst of the battle, and he slew Esau with a sword, and he cut off his head, and it sprang to a distance, and Esau fell amongst the people of the battle. And when Shushim did this thing to the sons of Jacob prevailed over the sons of Esau, and the sons of Jacob buried their father Jacob by force in the cave, and the sons of Esau beheld it. And Jacob was buried in Hebron, in the cave of Machpelah, which Abraham had bought from the sons of Heth, for a possession of a burial place, and he was buried in a very costly garment. Så kunde det gå till. Så Dans son Shushim dödade Esau, här står det. Och om man fortsätter och läser i Jasher så är det mycket krig mellan Esaus söner och Jakobs söner och Egypten och lite andra länder i Afrika. Och Esau krigar mot Seir, Mount Seir, och jag tror att det ska ligga här i södern. Ja. Kolla gärna in vad historien säger om det där. And Joseph and his brethren and all the strong men of Egypt went forth and fought in the city of Ramses. And Joseph and his brethren dealt out tremendous blow amongst the son of Esau and the children of the east. And they slew of them 600,000 men, 600,000 men. And they slew amongst them all the mighty men of the children of Seir, the Horite. Sök på det där. Seir, the Horite. Så se vad vi får upp. Who were the Horites in the Bible? Vi kan kolla lite snabbt. Ja. Ni får ni får leta. There were only a few of them, and they slew also a great many of the children of the east, and the children of Esau, and Eliphaz, the son of Esau, and the children of the east, all fled before Joseph and his brethren. Och sen så går de tillbaka till Egypten. And the children of Esau went secretly to Angeas, king of Africa. The same is Dinaba. Så Esau, de går dit. Jag plockar lite saker här bara. Jag tänker inte läsa alla detaljer om stridigheterna där. Men det är intressant, och och inse vad som hände emellan, för Bibeln är ju ganska kort. Jakob dog och sen så står det inte så mycket mer. Sen så dör Josef. Och bröderna dör ju en efter en, och till slut så vet vi ju, så är ju det hebreiska folket slavar sen. Men det kommer vi läsa om nästa vecka, tror jag det blir. Hur gick det till? Vad hände? Och hur gör man en sån sak? Och ja, det tar vi nästa vecka. Men här då. And there was a man from the people of Angeas, king of Dinaba. His name was Bela, the son of Beor, who was a very valiant man, beautiful and comely and wise in all wisdom, and a man of sense and counsel, and there was none of the people of Angeas like unto him. Son of Beor. Så vi kommer läsa lite om de här magikerna som finns i Egypten och längre fram. Jag vill bara nämna dem här. De kommer dyka upp längre fram. And it came to pass in the 32nd year of the Israelites going down to Egypt, that is in the 71st year of the life of Joseph. In that year died Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and Magron his son reigned in his stead. And Pharaoh commanded Joseph before his death to be a father to his son Magron, and that Magron should be under the care of Joseph and under his counsel. And all Egypt consented to this thing, that Joseph should be king over them. For all the Egyptians loved Joseph as of heretofore. Only Magron, the son of Pharaoh, sat upon his father's throne, and he became king in those days in his father's stead. Så en ny farao. Men Josef lever ju fortfarande här då och styr landet. And also his brethren, the sons of Jacob, dwelt securely in the land all the days of Joseph, and they were fruitful and multiplied exceedingly in the land. And when the children of Esau saw that their king has died in battle, they hastened and took a man from the people of the children of the east. His name was Jobab, the son of Sarach, from the land of Botsra, and they caused him to reign over them instead of Bela the king. Så Bela, son of Beor, var kung över Edom ett tag där. And Jabob sat upon the throne of Bela as king in his stead. And Jabob reigned in Edom over all the cities of Esau 10 years. And the children of Esau went no more to fight with the sons of Jacob from that day forward. For the sons of Esau knew the valor of the sons of Jacob, and they were greatly afraid of them. Och det är lite det här som jag vill att ni ska komma ihåg till nästa vecka. Att det kommer också tas upp. Men Jakobs söner och Egypten var just en stark krigsmakt. Men vi kommer se hur det vänder. But from that day forward, just det hade vi läst. And it came to pass after this, at the end of 10 years, Jabob the son of Sarach from Botsra died, and the children of Esau took a man whose name was Shusham from the land of Teman. And they made him king over them instead of Jobab. And Shusham reigned in Edom over the children of Esau for 20 years. And Joseph, king of Egypt, and his brethren, and all of the children of Israel dwelt securely in Egypt in those days, together with all the children of Joseph and his brethren, having no hindrance or evil accidents in the land of Egypt, was at that time at rest from war in the days of Joseph and his brethren. Sen är det lite stamtavlor. Jasher 59. And Joseph was 110 years old when he died in the land of Egypt, and all his brethren and all his servants rose up, and they embalmed Joseph, as was their custom, and his brethren and all Egypt mourned over him for 70 days. And they put Joseph in a coffin filled with spices and all sorts of perfume, and they buried him by the side of the river that is Sihor. And his sons and all his brethren and the whole of his father's household made a 7 days mourning for him. And it came to pass after the death of Joseph, all the Egyptians began in those days to rule over the children of Israel. And Pharaoh, king of Egypt, who reigned in his father's stead, took all the laws of Egypt and conducted the whole government of Egypt under his counsel, and he reigned securely over his people. Ja, det blir mer av det nästa vecka. Jag undrar om man har hittat några rester av Josef i Egypten. Så. För Josef har ju definitivt en stor historia i Egyptens historia. Det är någonting jag inte har tittat på. Det kan man ju söka på om man har hittat någonting från Josefs liv. Ja, det var det vi skulle läsa. Genesis 50:26. Och sen nästa är det Exodus. Andra Mosebok. Ja, det blir spännande tycker jag. Exodus och in på Leviticus, 3:e Mosebok. Men det är ett tag dit. Ja, jag hoppas någonting har varit till någon välsignelse. Att ni har fått upp ögonen för någonting. Vill söka efter någonting mer. Ta reda på fler saker. Historia kring det här. Ja, vi stannar där. Så ses vi nästa vecka.